So with all of these approximate numbers with taxes added up, it looks like a non-Tesla EV owner without the Tesla Supercharging membership would have spent approximately As many of you may know, Tesla has recently opened their exclusive supercharging network to other EVs. Ford was first, Rivian can now access them, I believe Volvo and Polestar are next, GM's coming as well. And there's been a lot of talk about the price of charging a non-Tesla on the Tesla supercharging network. So Tesla has created a $12.99 per month membership. Now, as you'll see in this pop-up, that membership gives non-Tesla EV owners the exact same pricing that we get on superchargers as a Tesla owner. So I just went on a trip from here to Greensboro, North Carolina to, of course, see Sting's final match for AEW Revolution. And I have all the statistics of how much it cost me to charge, what time I was charging, and how much it cost me for my entire trip in my Tesla to go from here in Rockmart at 100% charge with charging all the way to Greensboro, and then from Greensboro all the way back here to Rockmart. So we're gonna see how much I paid. Then I'm gonna do the math and show you on the app how much that supercharger would cost a non-Tesla EV owner to charge at during the exact same times. So this was just like 2 or 3 weeks ago that I went to these locations. So the pricing should all be basically the same. I have the time that I arrived and everything, so it's all 100% facts. Then we'll also show you the math of what it would have been if you would have had the membership, which would have essentially been whatever I paid plus $12.99. Granted, you'd have to pay that every month, but still. And then just for the heck of it, we'll throw in a 25 mile per gallon gas car and a 30 mile per gallon gas car, just so you can see the price versus gasoline. So these are one of my favorite videos to do. I'm gonna do it like Casey Neistat style from my overhead rig with all my little papers and writing it all out, showing you these real statistics. So click like, click subscribe, indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch. And let's see if the Tesla supercharging membership is actually worth it for non-Tesla EV owners. All right, so let's take a look at each one of these. So my first stop on the way there was in Commerce, Georgia. I arrived there at 11:14 a.m. and I used 57 kilowatt hours at 29 cents per kilowatt hour. My second stop on the way there was in Gastonia, North Carolina, where I stopped at 2:10 p.m. and used 38 kilowatt hours at 34 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, on the return trip, since I did not have free charging at the hotel, I stopped at 10:13 in the morning in Colfax, North Carolina. I was only there for like 16 minutes, but I added 30 kilowatt hours at 34 cents per kilowatt hour. This was my second stop. I was here for a good bit, 39 minutes. I ate lunch. It was at 11:15 a.m. I added 46 kilowatt hours at 36 cents per kilowatt hour. And my last stop was at 2:44 p.m. in Fairplay, South Carolina, where I added 35 kilowatt hours at 34 cents per kilowatt hour. So now we'll do some math. So first off, let's see exactly how many kilowatt hours that I used for my entire round trip. Now remember, my Tesla Model 3 started at my house at 100%. So that's, that's just how that goes. All right, let's do that math now. This is my little graph. So we charged a total of 206 kilowatt hours in our entire trip, which as you can see would have been essentially the same no matter which vehicle you had. For mileage, it was a total of 779 miles. This includes my whole trip. This means from my house to Town Center Mall where I saw the Cybertruck, from there to Commerce, from Commerce to Gastonia, Gastonia to the Hilton to the Coliseum back to the Hilton, and then from there to the other 3 stops coming home. 779 miles was the entire round trip. So that's why these are all exactly the same. So now we're going to get into the cost. So the cost for me was, my trip cost me $68.11 to drive 779 miles. I think that's pretty darn good. Now let me get the kilowatt hour pricing for non-Tesla EVs without a membership for each one of these locations. I'm going to show you it in the app so you know all of this is legit. So I have the Commerce, Georgia Supercharger selected, and I arrived there at 11:14. So it looks like it's only a penny more at this location, 28 cents per kilowatt hour, and I paid 27 cents here on my invoice. So that's pretty surprising. Now, looking at Gastonia, a little bit more here. Charging fees here are 46 cents per kilowatt hour, and they don't seem to be fluctuating based on the time, at least at these two locations. So I paid 32 cents, this one would be 46. So add in 46 cents. All right, the next stop was Sandy Ridge Road in Colfax. I paid 32 cents per kilowatt hour. Again, they don't seem to be charging difference per hour here. This charger on a non-Tesla would be 44 cents per kilowatt hour. Add that in. Not that much of a markup in my opinion. Now, the stop at the Culvers looks like they're charging 48 cents per kilowatt hour at this location, and I paid 34 cents per kilowatt hour. And lastly, Fairplay, South Carolina is charging 44 cents per kilowatt hour, and I paid 32. So really not that much of a markup as I really thought we would see. And I will say I must have just gotten lucky, because like this one, for example, in East Point shows the different pricing depending on the time. So it must just be that the ones that I stopped at had set pricing and not the variable rate like some of the other ones have. So now I'm going to do this math. I'm going to do how many kilowatt hours I added at each one at the new pricing just to see what it would have cost. And let me show you those numbers here. So at this supercharging station, had I been a non-Tesla owner without a membership, I would have paid $15.96 versus, well, I guess that's without taxes. I didn't think of taxes. I guess I'd need to add taxes to all of these. That kind of stinks. So add $1.08 to that. It would have been only like 17 bucks. Same for this one. It would have been $17.48 versus $12.92. Add about another 80 cents for taxes. It would have been about a rough estimate, $18.30. This location would have been $13.20 versus the $10.20. Add in your 67 cents for tax. You would have been at approximately 14 bucks. This location would have been $22.08 versus the $16.58 that I spent. Add in $1.08 for taxes, you would have been right around $23.20 or so. And this one would have been $15.40. Add in another 60 cents for taxes, you would have been at about $16. Now these are not exact numbers, as to be honest, I didn't think of taxes at the time when I was doing this. So when I add up this math, I'm gonna take this number and essentially add in a little bit more than what I paid in tax. So like this one was $1.08. I'm just going to add $1.08. This one was only 85 cents. I'm going to add a little more than 85 cents, like 95 cents or something. Either way, you're going to get a roundabout number of essentially what it would have cost. So let's see how much it would have cost a non-Tesla without the membership. So as a small update, I switched the numbers to add taxes. So like this one was $17. This one was $19.20 versus the $12.92. This one was approximately $14 versus $10.20. This one was approximately $23.20 versus $16.58 for me. And this one was approximately $16 versus $11.90. Let's add it up now. So with all of these approximate numbers with taxes added up, it looks like a non-Tesla EV owner without the Tesla Supercharging membership would have spent approximately $89.40. Might as well say 90 bucks to charge and go on the exact same trip that I went in my Model 3 to charge at the exact same locations as I did, but they would have paid basically $22 more than I paid. So now let's do the math for a non-Tesla with the membership. So they would have paid the same as me because they have the membership. So they would have paid $68.11 plus $12.99 for their month of access to the membership. There it is. $81.10 is what it would have cost a non-Tesla with the membership to charge 206 kilowatt hours to go on this exact same trip that I went on with my Tesla Model 3. Now, just for the fun of it, let me, and we're just gonna grab some other pricing info real quick. Be right back. Now, for those of you wondering about gas, 779 miles in a 25 mile per gallon car would have came about to $95. That's at about $3.05 per gallon. So, take that for what it's worth. And I also kind of want to see some pricing for these similar areas if I can find Electrify America or EV Go Station. So let me see if I can pull that up. So it was a little harder to find this than I thought it would be. But for example, in Commerce, Georgia, where I paid 27 cents and a non-Tesla would have paid 29 cents, Electrify America charges 56 cents. And that says with the Electrify America pass pricing. So that means you'd pay even more if you're not paying for their membership. Let's check out Gastonia. Gastonia doesn't even have any, but if I would have made it maybe here into Charlotte, I would have paid 56 cents with their Electrify America pass pricing. I wish they showed the price without that, but it was 46 cents for a non-Tesla EV without the membership, and I paid 32 cents. Let's see if Colfax, North Carolina has one. Nope, none in Colfax, but there's one down here in Greensboro where it was 48 cents per kilowatt hour with the Electrify America pass pricing versus 44 cents or what I paid at 32 cents. Let's check Salisbury. Well, again, none in Salisbury, but if I went to this Electrify America charger, I would have paid 56 cents per kilowatt hour with their Electrify America pass pricing versus 48 cents for non-Teslas or 34 cents for Teslas and Teslas with a membership. Lastly, Fairplay, South Carolina. Yeah, none either. The only one is the one in Commerce. So basically, Electrify America is way more expensive. So basically, it would be cheaper to pay for Tesla's membership and to use Tesla Superchargers versus paying for Electrify America's membership and using Electrify America's chargers. That's interesting. I think that'll do it. So there you have it. That is the facts. That's what it would have cost you if you would have had the membership, if you would have not had the membership, and don't even get me started on if you would have tried to use Electrify America. First of all, I question if you would have even made it in between these locations, and second of all, you would have been paying 10 to 15 cents more, not including their $3 or $5 a month Electrify America Pass membership, which to me says the Tesla membership is well worth it. I mean, if you look at this trip alone, $81.10. I mean, it was still like $9 cheaper than it would have been to not have the membership, and I can charge on it in more trips throughout the rest of the month if I would have paid for the membership and been charging in a non-Tesla. Now, do I think you should pay for this every single month? Probably not. I would honestly say if you're going on a long road trip, think about it. It's probably worth it. You're probably going to save something in the end. I mean, literally, if I would have been in a non-Tesla, I would have saved myself $9 by paying for their membership and using the Tesla Superchargers. And that's not even including the math of not using the Tesla Superchargers. At some of these prices, I think it would have been well over $100 to charge on Electrify America versus charging on Tesla Superchargers. Now, let me also add here that this pricing is for Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. This is going to fluctuate some based on time. As I showed you, the one Supercharger by the airport is based upon time. Somehow all of these that I charged at just happen to be a set kilowatt hour price, which must mean that Tesla is getting charged a set kilowatt hour price, so they are in return just passing that along to us with a little bit tagged on top. Now compare these prices to California. This same trip would have probably been double. So instead of $68 for me, it would have probably been $120 for the same 779 miles. But of course, I get to charge from 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. for 1 cent per kilowatt hour with Georgia Power, compared to, I think, in California, the same 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. rate is, I believe, still like a quarter, like 25 to 30 cents. So depending on where you're at, depending on which chargers you hit, this is going to fluctuate. But either way, definitely seems that there is a savings when having the Tesla Supercharging membership versus not having it. And of course, people are waiting on their adapters. There's unapproved adapters that are on the market right now. I would highly recommend you wait on getting your free one, most likely free, at least free from Rivian and Ford, from your manufacturer over buying one of these third parties. But that's just me. If you want to risk your $40,000, $50,000 EV, that's all the way up to you. I know I would not. So in the end, I can say from my math on my last trip all the way from Rockmart to Greensboro, North Carolina, it would have been completely worth it for me to pay for the membership to save $9 and have another 30 some odd days remaining. Because with this membership, you don't have to pay every month. You don't pay for the year. You can just pay for 1 month and cancel it. So if it's summertime and you know you're going on a few trips, pay for it for June and July, cancel it after June and July, buy and then just charge at your home. In the end, it's definitely worth it to pay for a Tesla membership to charge your non-Tesla EVs. Hope you like this video. Sorry about the taxes. I should have thought about taxes. I never think about taxes, but I just didn't really think of that. So a little bit of my number was estimate, but for the most part, it's 100% on point in terms of what you would have paid for a non-Tesla EV without the membership, about $90 versus $81 with the membership. And that includes the $13 for the membership versus the $68 I paid. So I hope you like this video. Of course, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below and I'll answer them. Thank you all for watching. Click like, click subscribe, indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.